Hi, guys. Is the video and sound okay? Hi, 911, Explorer, Traveler, Mayob, McCord, Arthur Jackson. Hey, Arthur. Hey, Brian, Ben, Rogers, Tony. Okay, I'm going to try to say this correctly. Zhao, is that correct? Zhao Alexander? What a cool name. Two Dog. Timothy, how you doing? Eric, Roger, let's see, Euro, good grief. Malab, Miami. Oh, Colorado Springs, cool. Portugal, Chao, Explora, Panama City. Wow, Boise. Okie doke, guys. Here's what I wanted to do today. Let me see. With the other group, I'll call it a couple other groups. With the Jours ETN group, we meet on Sunday at 10 o'clock online like this. This is the plan anyway. And I'd like to meet on Saturdays with this group at 10 o'clock. Okay. So there's we've got people from all over the world, and I try to make something so that the poor guys on the West Coast out in California and Oregon and Washington, they have to get up very early. And then the guys in Hong Kong have to stay up late at night. But there's always going to be something that somebody's going to be off with. So any time shift it one way or the other, and it's good for some, bad for others, and so forth. But anyway, oh, hey, thanks, Brian. Okay, so let me tell you where we are. I was just taking a look at the number of people who'd like to sign up with the Chronode C101 project, the 7-day project. As those of you who have had anything to do with me in the past, my French is terrible, but I still love to use it. So the 7 jours, simply me being pretentious. That's all it is. So not to worry. Okay, this is what I'd like to do today. First of all, I want to give you an overview of what we do. This is modeled very much on what we've done with LaRique, but it's also very different in certain ways. Okay, and I gotta say the ways it's different in terms of operating things is I think a lot easier on us all. First of all, this is turning out to be something a little different than I had planned or really had with LaRique. LaRique, all of the movements are basically bespoke. We start off and we have a conversation, and we talk to them about what we would like, and then how the movement's going to look and what's it going to do and everything. And then they make it for us. This with the Montreuil Foudet Sablé is very different. We go to places that already have a movement, that they have a part of their program is just selling movements without the watch or anything else. There aren't that many really top ones. I mean, there's some that'll turn them out, in truckloads. ETA, Salida, Siegel, and I've done a lot of stuff with different those. They're not bad movements. They're just on a different level. And one of the things with LaRique that we do is we have tried to keep them at really horology. I think is the focal point. It's really excellent horology, and I can't think of anyone who does it better than Agenor. So but this, on the other hand, is something that off the shelf, but also at a very high level. The person we're working with that really surprised me was Jean-Francois Mojon, and he's one of the top uh, movement makers in Switzerland. And when I called the shop and, geez, God, it's either Le Loc or La Chute de France. I forgot which one. Anyway, I called him up. And so I ended up talking to him the whole time, and I've been communicating with him directly. So I think I like that kind of connection. I don't mind, talking to other people, but it's to talk to, to have a connection with somebody who is at, it's like with Jean-Marc Wiederreck. I was just thrilled to be able to talk with him and work with him. And I think we're going to be doing the same thing with uh, Jean-Francois Mojon. Now, the one thing about this that is different than the other one that we're doing with Schwarz ETN is that there is an option that we have that we don't have with okay. It's the same options, except there we can choose whether we want to have the hand done en glace or just regular. The regular one, or the one the hand done. I don't know the difference, but when I talk to him about it, there's I guess we'll just have to guess, is that if one or the other. I got the movement from as far as ETN, and I'm going to be getting another one because I think it's important to have an actual movement that I can send to our watchmaker, the guy up in Ohio who's doing the Schwarz ETN. I'll also be doing this one. He's great. It's really great. I was very happy to see the kinds of work that he's been doing. And for those of you who are in the Schwarz ETN group, tomorrow I've got some stuff that where we've moved along. We've been moving very quickly. There's another difference between this group and the Schwarz ETN group. I I think what they have, all of the Schwarz ETN, what are called the MSE 211s that we're getting, were sort of around somewhere, and they were able to come up with 22 of them. And so that's how come we had to limit it to 22. They don't seem to have an issue with Chronode. So they're, I don't know. I don't think it's a million or something like that, but it's certainly more than 22, and already more than 22 have signed up, so they better have more. So that's a good thing. And the other part of it is that the 50% is the same that they have with Schwarz ETN. When we contract with them, we have to have 50% of the total available. That's what the deposit's for. It's not just for the movement, so it's also for the all of the work that the designer, developer, establisher does. So it's not just one thing, but it's half of all of those. The good thing is that it's not. I mean, like it's a lot better price wise, simply because of the nature of the projects than it has been with Larique. Larique has been expensive on a lot of levels. No fault. I mean, it's not Agenor. It's not greedy or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. It's the different kinds of work they have to do starting from scratch. But the other thing is that what we've had to do with, and this will to some extent with both Schwarz ETN as well as Chronode, is that we're dealing with a shifting um, dollar to Swiss franc. Okay, and right now, I mean, let's take a look. I keep track of it because if you don't, you're in trouble. Um, Hang on a second. Yeah, it's been $1 is 77 cents Swiss francs, and so the uh, one Swiss franc is $1.30 essentially. Okay, so but that can go both ways. Before the current administration, we actually made money in a year because the dollar went up versus the Swiss franc. And then starting in with the latest administration, there's been a lot of trade issues. And now that there's war going on, I hope if any of you are in the war zones, bless you, because that's not anything that anybody needs. It just started today. Good, we're going to have a meeting, so let's start a war. That's crazy. But people in the Mid East, I have lots of friends there on both sides, and so anyway, um, so that could affect things. Okay, sometimes it might be to our advantage, sometimes to the disadvantage, but it's minimized because we're working in U.S. dollars, and I think that helps. If you're I think the euro and some of these other currencies are doing a little better versus the dollar right now. So that's good for for you guys. But for us who are starting with and ending with US dollars, it's going to be pretty stable. So that's a good thing. Um, Okie doke. So that's sort of a little overview. I don't mean to sort of go off on too many tangents. Um, 9/11, the Chronode 7-day movement looks somewhat similar to my 7-day Chapek movement. I'm wearing it this week, and it's nice. They're gonna like it. I think so too. Um, the one on the Chapek has a lot more, what I'll call, grill work, a lot more, with bridges and so on and so forth. But yes, they're essentially they've got the same basic heart. Okay. All right. Now, okay, so this is important. For those of you who have been through this with, Larique, one of the things is extremely important to understand is we're all working to the same goal, okay? And sometimes they say, "Well, I wish it were this way," and everybody else says, "I wish it were another way," and that happens. And so if I could sort of line up all of the things, all of the projects that I've had, including I'm wearing this is one of my Larique watches, E2 number 2. Um, we go through it, and some of the things we agree on, and some we disagree on. But we have to do is we have to work toward a consensus. There are a few things we can vote on, but not very many, and I'll tell you why. If we set it up with, well, we're going to vote on this, we're going to vote on that, rather than working toward a consensus, you could have a situation where like 49% want one thing and 51 want another. So the 51% wins. And so, we don't want to have it set up so that, half the people are unhappy. Okay. Like, oh, I don't want that. So that's why we have to work toward a consensus. There's something else too. If you have a vote on everything, especially if they're close, one time it goes for one side and the other time it goes the other. You could end up with what we call a homer. Is that this is this and this is this? This was a reference to Homer Simpson putting a car together. We could end up with really disjointed things. So, like I said, it's important to work toward a consensus. We uh, Another thing we discourage, is pretty much we had a guy on one, and he's a wonderfully nice guy and everything, but he would come on and say, well, this is what everybody wants. It was what he wanted. And he said, let's do this. Wouldn't this be great? You don't have to sell it. Just say, I'd like to see this or I'd like to see that. Works a lot better and people will listen to you. If you go out there with two pom-poms and start jumping up and down, that's not going to be too helpful. The focal point is on the goal and is getting this done. I've been working with our designer, developer, and so forth on the other one. We're not wasting any time, to tell you the truth. And so we're going to go forward. But on the other hand, we meet with everyone and saying, look, this is where we are right now. If any suggestions and so forth, and I have had some so far, and we've got to go back and forth. A lot of times, what we found out with Larique is that we'd be talking about something, and sometimes some of our best decisions weren't our decision. We'd say, well, we'll let Matu. Matu is the name of our designer. I'm not a designer. I know that. A lot of people aren't designers, but they don't know that. They see something they like and they decide they understand design. Well, maybe they do, but we can't go off in 50,000 different directions or we'll never get anything done. And so we've got to focus on the goal once we have something set up. Now, I think the goal here is to focus. Bright belly. This is what we're on our current project now. All right, we got plans. Of course, there are plans for other ones afterwards, but that's what I mean by focus. We got to keep a focus on this, not off to somewhere else. Okay. Oh, bless you, boy. Okay. Let me see what else. One thing, this is up to you guys. I'm for it one way or the other. We've been with Larique. We have our watches. We send them to the Grand Prix d'Horlogerie de Genève. This is sort of like the Academy Awards, the Oscars of watches. And what we do is that we send them up there and they get international exposure. The price is 800 Swiss francs. On both of these projects, there's enough so that we don't have to pay anything extra if we do that to enter it. Okay. If we go to nominations, Abdul, I was just talking to Bright Valley. See, this is how you get focus. Okay. Really, you guys, we start going off on these things, and some people have a reputation for being experts at screwing things up that way. Abdul, you're not one of them, but please, let's focus, okay? Not go off on stuff. Otherwise, we don't get anything done, all right? This is like crucial. See what I mean? Okay. Where was I? Oh, yeah, talking about GPHG, the Grand Prix. We were talking to a person who does promotions, and she wanted to know why we did that. Why would we do it? We're not selling anything. We have all of our stuff, and I think it's simply a way to recognize, that we're doing something interesting. It also too, you don't want to sell your watch and says, hey, this thing, was nominated in a Grand Prix or won one, something like that. It's sort of fun to do, and we see it with that. Like I said, we can afford to do that. We'd have to talk about it, though, and decide on it. The other part of it is that it's sort of like, be careful what you wish for. If we are selected for nominations, then there's a 7,000 Swiss franc charge, because then they take it around the world and do all of this stuff with it, with the nominated watches. That would probably all have to pony up depending on how many people we have. I don't know how many we have, but in deciding to do that, you can decide, well, no, we're not going to give you the $7,000, so our watch will miss the trip, but it's nice to be nominated. So we can, that's something we can decide, things like that. Okay, now, having said that, I wanted to open it up to questions that you may have. Let me answer one that somebody had that we usually have in the States that they may have elsewhere. The watch band that we set up a deal with, the company that we set up with, and the band, the specific band we set up with, is a croc band. And somebody from Germany asked, they said, well, we're going to run into, are we going to run into problems with that? Coming into the United States, you definitely will. You have to have something so that when it goes through sites, they promise that everything is okay. The other part of it is we're if we do have sites, that will be up to the people with the straps. If they say, "Yeah, we have a sites thing that can go with it," we can send it. It also depends on coming in to wherever you are. Coming in the United States, we even had problems with ostrich, and I had to get a special license so that we could have our ostrich straps. These originally came with ostrich straps. I still have it, but I decided to put a Ming band on it. You can do that too. So what do? Usually the easiest thing to do is simply ship it separately. And then if it goes through, fine. If it doesn't, they don't keep your whole watch while you're waiting for it. So that's about all I can say about that. Okay, that was one of the ones that they had questions about. Um, okay, so um, let's hear what any questions that you have about anything, except what Larica is up to next. The case maker, yeah, the whole kit and caboodle. Yeah, I've been working on that with the first one with him already for ever since we started. This is the thing is that like I was talking about focus. This guy, the guy I'm working with, is very focused. So the answer to that is yes. During the case, this is what we usually have to do separately. This with Lyrique, we have the movement is separate. Even we first we paid something like 50,000 or something like that for our last watch, just for the design, just for him to design it. And so that's we don't have that. So we have the whole movement. So just what the movement costs. Then we have the dial, and the dial is extremely important. Most people say, "Well, just a dial with some holes in it." It's not. The guy that I'm working with has wanted all of the technical things that comes from the movement maker. I got all of that for him, so that's going along. So he does the dial, does the case, which is also requires all of the technical stuff, and also the hands. So we've been working on that one, so moving it along. And then when I meet tomorrow with the Shores ETN group, then I'll say, okay, this is what we have. Any comments, and we'll talk about it. Okay, and move ahead. Okay, so yeah, everything is the guy in Ohio. Okay, Todd, I'm new to this. Do you know if the watch will have a display case back? Yes, that's another thing that we had wanted. Um, yeah, we'll get so we can see the movement. Yes, that's so one of the things about having rather than having a a cheap movement, I'll say inexpensive movement, with versus one like this is that you definitely want to see it. Somebody mentioned, yeah, 911 Euro did about the Chopek. They have essentially the same movement, but they've done a lot of stuff with the everything from the barrels, what's the gear that goes on top of the barrel? I forgot the name of it. Regent gear. The Regent gear has been all fixed up and everything. So there's been a lot of work on it. On this one, the one we have is going to be pretty standard. Uh, and then if somebody wants the hand anglage, the hand beveling and so forth, they charge us extra for it. Now, what we're doing is that so we're talking about a $5,000 watch. It'll be 5,520 with the anglage, but we're doing it up front because when we order it, we've got to order so many are regular, so many are going to be with the anglage. So that's we're doing that. However, after the first deposit, the other two are simply the other half of 5,000, not the added anglage, because we got to get the whole anglage part up front. Okay, so when we order it, that's what we're dealing with. The half that we're dealing with is the half of whatever numbers that we have. Okay, doke. Let me see. Yeah, so it'll have a display case back. Also, do you know the diameter? Yeah, it's going to be 39 millimeters. By the way, too, this is become a very popular one. 39 millimeters is a nice one. There are a lot of guys who don't like the bigger ones. This one is 39 millimeters, the one we had with Larique, and they're sort of big enough and small enough at the same time. Okay. What is the target date? Months, years? Okay, that's the question that once we set up a contract with Chronode, we'll get that. It could be several months. It could be up like several months. But what we can do is I'm going to get a movement ahead of time. In fact, I'll do the same thing with this. This one that we have, after we have our meeting tomorrow, this I'm going to send to our designer to make absolutely sure that everything fits. And so, as soon as we get the movements, everything's going to be ready. The case is going to be ready, the dial, everything. And it will take the very first one that we get. I was thinking of that maybe we could get two. Now that's gonna take 4 weeks just to get a couple samples from that. And after that, it'll depend on the numbers. It may be two-tiered. They do the first ones without the anglage, and then they'll do the ones with the anglage. So we'll see. I don't know, but I will ask about that. Okay, let's see. So anyway, traveler, I wish I could give you. When I told them originally, I said we wanted to have something by this summer. So this coming summer, here it is. We're up to our ears in snow right now, but this summer. Benjamin, what's the approximate timeline? I'm sure there'll be delays and changes, but just a general idea. General idea is I'm looking at summer. Are you planning to have similar cases for both the Schwarz ETN and the Chronode watches? I wasn't planning on it. I sort of like, whatever you guys want. They're different in certain ways. One of the things with the Chronode that has a sort of a similar kind of thing that's different from the one we're doing as far as ETN is the the power reserve indicator sort of right above the where the hour hand and the minute hand come together, and so it's going to be right above that, and so it gives it a different look. And the one that we looked at, that I think it was Urban Jurgensen had, the Urban Jurgensen J1, it's a $400,000 watch, uh, was used as well. It's going to be looking something like that. So yeah, but I don't know. Personally, I'd like to see them to be different, but if they're the same, that everyone wants them the same. So, oh well, we want one like those guys have. We can do that, but the difference will be this power reserve indicator on the Schwarz ETN is at like between 1 and 2 o'clock, whereas the one on the Chronode is directly below the 12 o'clock. I'm reading everybody's things. Do you know what the thickness of the case is going to be? No, I don't. This will depend. This is why I want to get my mitts on the movement so we can see. Let me show you. Hang on a second. Let's see if I can bring something up to show you. Hang on a second. Now, I got this from this is the movement we're dealing with from Chronode. This is not site, so but what I do with this is I send this to the designer, and all of these little elements here, for example, you can see here how right here, this is where the hands go, and so the width of the, I guess, the pivot point, or not pivot, but shaft, the width of the shaft is 2. The wider width is for the width of the hour hand, and the smaller one is for the minute hand. And so, since he's making the hands, he's got to get those just right. And then the position, see if I can see there. I can't I can't read the whole thing either. But they need to know exactly. This looks like, I'm guessing this is the I don't know what this is. This guy right here would either be the shaft for the power reserve indicator. Yeah, for the power reserve indicator, or the small seconds. Wait a minute, here's one. Is this one? I guess this probably small seconds would be here, and this would be the other one. I'm not sure. That's why we hire somebody who is sure, and this is why we get this kind of information, so that we can you know get it right. Okay, so I mean, it's the kind of thing is that we're not going to stand still, because we don't want to rush it, but we want to get all of the tools that we need in place ahead of time. Okay, and that's what I've been doing, and that's we've been rolling with the other one. So anyhow, okie doke. Let's see what else is going on. Timeline. Making a traveler, yeah. I got a right now, we'll see that later. One of the things, we had a thing that jerk. There's no other word for it. Some jerk goes ahead. He decides he wants something that nobody else wanted. So he interjects his great ideas with the guy who's doing our design for us or one of the other things. So just for the time being, just, you know, well, you can see for the most part who it is because I every time I send anybody any money that we pay for, they go up so everybody can see it. But for the most part, we'll just keep it under our hat, Antoine Noir, if you know what I mean. I also have a residence near Cincinnati, Ohio. I think I've used the same watchmaker service several watches. Are you able to share the name? Not right now, okay, Tim. We'll do it later, though. I don't know. I don't know Ohio that well, and I have no idea whether it's near Cincinnati or not. You know, at some point, we may actually have ask somebody who's one of our members who's near there can go over there and check something out or do something. And I don't think we have to because we've got really good communications already set up. Any other finishing on the movement other than the optional? Well, yes, sort of. Um, they wanted to have there's another charge for it, but I talked to Fernando about it, and I think we can afford to do it without any extra charge. And that is some kind of not a signature, but some kind of logo or something, so it doesn't look like, you know, we have uh, we have one of the guys who's one of the subscribers has something. Let me show you something, okay, real quick. What he came up with. You probably saw the little uh, where is it? Hang on a second. Oh, here it is. Let me see if I can bring it up right here. Um, he came up with the one with the little dragon and one little one that he did. That was one of our guys. That wasn't our designer, and I sort of liked it. I don't know what the rest of you thought about it. And I showed it to the designer, and he said, "Well, we need this and this and this and this." Namely for formats like AI format instead of PNG and things like that. And then our guy came up with another one, and I showed it to our designer. He said, "This will work a lot better." Um, Hang on a second. Let me show it to you what it is. Um, this one is simply for Foudet Sablé, and the it's 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 not quite as kiddie looking, okay, for lack of a better term, because we want to have a fairly elegant looking gentleman's watch, and we can have this put on the back of the movement case. So it would go on one of the plates back here, and they just stamp it on there, and so it would be make it our own rather than whatever else it is. I think it's important though that I like to have the fact that it's by Chronode as opposed to something else. I'll put it that way. Okay. All right. Let me go down to so yeah. So Eric, that is an extra expense that is optional, but we decided that Fernando and I thought, well, heck, yeah, we can afford that. Okay, Benjamin, can we have all those technical drawings shared with everyone? I think those would be exciting. I don't know. I got to tell you, Benjamin, I'm not being coy here. I had to sign an NDA. Okay, so I'll see. I'll check on that one. All right. I'm not disagreeing with you. I think it would be fun to have that. Um, but let me check with them first. Okay. Okay, how long before the dial concept and final versions might be shared? Well, 9/11, what we'll be doing, I'll be doing the same thing with the Schwarz ETN group. Tomorrow, I'm showing where we are on both the case and the dial design. We had started off with we had sort of we had certain things in mind before we started, but sort of going to be sort of like what we call brigade-ish. It's going to be a gentleman's watch. It's not going to be a sports watch. It's going to be a sort of a nice watch that someone can wear every day. Um, and so, taking that, I took it to the designer, and he got to work on it right away, and it was incredibly good. This is why I was very happy that with the result. And he's a great guy to work with. So I think that as soon as we get the ball rolling on this, which means that once we finish getting all the subscribers, then we're going to be off and running. That's why that technical drawing I showed you, that's the one we're going to use, and we can move with it. Order the like this. This one is with us already, and we just started the other one a week or so ago. And so we really want to move with it because all kinds of things happen. Believe me, they get in the way. And so we don't want that to happen. So, okay, so the dial concept, that'll be, I think what we ought to do, well, in fact, today we can talk some about it if you want, some of the ideas that you might have. Okay, Jeff Taylor's your opinion. Get his watch for free. I'm not getting it for free. I no, I listen. I I think that I should pay the every, and I have. I've already put my deposit in. I don't want to get in trouble with Fernando. um, no, there's a thing about it. I think it's I just think it's important. Rather than doing it to get a free watch, it's important to do it to so we all do it together. That's just my attitude toward, good God, if I got a free watch, there's someplace else I'd like to get it from, 'cause a lot more expensive. But this I think is neat. McCord, I saw the payment deadline is March 4th. Yes, I haven't got payment instructions yet. All you have to do is, a lot of people put their name up there without their email address, and we need your email address. So if you're going to do it, I put Fernando's email address. Send it to Fernando, and he'll send you all of the information that you need. By the way, that's going to be very important to have up there. Um, is to have the contact information. Right now, I've got about a third of the people who have sent in money, and I have no idea how to contact them. And I even have some people who didn't put their name on it. I mean, it's like I got to figure this out. It's really important if you do join, for God's sakes, put your name so we know who it is. Uh, it, there's all I get is a bunch of bank numbers and things like that, and it's very important that you put your name there, that so I know who it is. I've been able to figure some of them out, believe it or not, by going over, doing a Google search and coming up with taking all the clues I can. But I don't, maybe that's not right. So we're going to be sure to do that. Contact Fernando, and hang on a second, because his everybody else has been pretty able to get his. Hold on a sec. Okay, here is Fernando's email address. Contact Fernando. He's the guy, and he will send you all of the information. Joe, Shipment process to send to Portugal. Can you explain? We put it in a box. No, probably, we've had a lot of luck with DHL sending it to Europe and Asia. If the thing is, it's ask around, ask some people, in Portugal that who've done the shipping and ask for what they think the best, route is. We've used FedEx. I have an account with FedEx, but, um and what I've been getting from, uh what I got yesterday, this arrived by FedEx from, Switzerland, yesterday. Um, I'm gonna find out, 'cause, Chronode probably has a whole lot of experience shipping, movements, and so I think shipping the watches back, with that, but the best thing to do is simply talk to people that, you know, some people in Portugal and say, "Hey, tell me your experience with this." Okay. Okay. Mr. Okey doke. Hey, Washington. Will there be a warranty? I don't know. It's a good question. I haven't asked it yet. What the warranty will be. I think it's gonna have to be through the movement maker. We'll have to connect with McCord or the guy. If your watch all of a sudden the dial falls off and things like that, that would be. We'll talk to the guy doing the design and the putting it together about the warranty. But I haven't. That's an important thing to do, and it's just one of the things I haven't gotten around to yet. Hi, Explorer. You like the flame too? I did too. But I think to have we don't wanna make it look like sometimes I can look like a kiddie's watch, and as much as I like it, I can we can put it on someplace else and still use it. Roger. Yeah, that three-letter logo, I like that one too. Well, Roger, the branding here's what I'd like to do, yeah, any branding that, Chronode has, I'd like to stay on there, like, on our, the movements by Agenor, they are, the ones by Agenor, they will have AGH, and they'll have a name so that people know it's Agenor, and, that's great, but then we can put our, logo on there too. Yeah, the new logo, the fire-breathing dragon on the movement. I don't know, we'll have to decide on that. Okay, you already contacted, Fernando, and you're gonna do it again. Okay. Yeah, I wanna do that, Timothy. And also find out who the mystery person is, that I have no idea who it is, but what I did is that I took everybody's and I'll put that up on we have a special site just for members of this group that is called, let me see what we have for a name. Um, I think it's called Chronode C101. I think that's what we named it. I'll put that up. I should have put it up. Well, I wanted just to give it to you guys. Hang on a second. Let me give it to you right now. and this is gonna be the, uh, hold on one second. Yeah, it's called, Chronode C101. Um, I don't know if they'll let you put URLs here or not, but I'm going to and we'll see what happens. Yeah, there it is. The name of it is it's a, Facebook page. So if the, link doesn't work, uh, that ought to work. Yeah, let me say something, Timothy, going back to, paying by wire. What my bank does, I have a big list of things that says processing, and it's working on the processing already. By the way, one of the initially with Larique, we used my bank account, and the reason behind it was that we got free, transfers, and so at least on our end, we did. Instead of having to pay 15 bucks every time somebody transferred, money in, doesn't cost us anything, and so, pretty soon we'll have enough to for entry fee for the GPHG. Yeah, Fernando's he's got a lot of stuff. Both of us are, busy as one-armed paper hangers. We've been really trying to get everything done. And Timothy, yeah, so what'll happen, it comes to my bank, and then there's this thing that says processing, and until it's finished processing, sometimes it tells me who it is, sometimes it doesn't. Once it's processed, so then I can go in and find out, who it was. What I'll do, though, I'll put up I'll put up everyone who's on there, and there's one, like I said, who's a mystery. There's been other things. Some people put their business name, and that's fine to use a business account. Whoops, fine to use a business account, but the problem is the I had to look up a couple of them, on, the internet, and I found them and then figured out who it was and then checked with them, but if you put your name there, that really helps. It really helps a lot. Yeah, yeah, so Timothy, that's where we are right now. But I can put those up there, and I'll put them on the Facebook page. I'm not gonna put the amount, but I'm gonna just put it there, okay? The reason I'm not putting the amount, I don't wanna have some people say, "Well, gee whiz, these guys are having the gloss and these guys aren't." Some people want it, some don't, it's fine, we'll just leave it that way. If they're impartial paid, that's another thing, and figure that out too. Okay, go ahead, any more questions you have? Okay, let me ask you this, like I said about the timing, I think 10 o'clock Friday would be a time that would be sort of goes all the way to the West Coast of the US. Uh, I have to get up a little early, so it'd be, let's see, 10, 9, 8. The guys on the West Coast have to get up at 7 o'clock for these meetings. The guys in Hong Kong have to stay up until, let me see what time, be 11 o'clock at night, so it's the best I can do. Uh, Eric, no, most of this hasn't been decided yet. What we'll do is that, begin providing more information between now by this time next week, we can start talking about those things. Um, what I wanna do is to get the, order in and, so forth, and that's how come we've gotta have um, that March 4th. It's today I guess tomorrow is the 1st. So tomorrow is Sunday, uh, 2, 3, 4, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, by Wednesday, all of the we're gonna cut it off Wednesday. Don't send any money after then. And then I've gotta get the, order thing set up with, Chronode, and then we pay for that. Then I gotta get the thing with our designer, it's everything set up. Are we looking for decent legibility? Yeah, yeah, we are. Um, yeah, I think it's very important. Here's here's one of the it's not gonna be this is a simple one that I have, but, you wanna be able to see it, not sort of this is a little too Bauhaus for me, but the idea we wanna see it. Um, yeah, they're different I don't know, I guess the first thing we'll have to decide is between Roman numerals and Arabic numerals. Which one does everybody want? That's one thing we can have a vote on if there's any kind of, discussion about it. Um, I'm I'm happy with either one. Some people hate the Roman. "Oh, I don't like Roman." Other ones, "Well, I like it because it's more formal." To me, this is gonna be sort of more on a formally side, though. It's not gonna be, this is not a sports watch, it's not a diver or anything like that. It's just for big boys, a gentleman's watch. Okay. Will you get a receipt for payment and notification of the additional payments? Not yet. Okay, and I'll tell you why. We don't have everybody's email. This is crazy. People send us money. We don't even have everybody's name. Uh, I I would it would be like if I took all of our deposits and sent them to Chronode and say, "Guess who?" Yeah, it I'm gonna do that all together. The notification, Todd, is going to be, what I'd like to do it is do it through, to put it up on our page, on the, Chronode, C101 page so that everybody can see it, and they can check theirs really easy. Running down everybody, what it can do when you put it up there, I can also say, "We need this person's email address. We need this person's name." We gotta so, yeah. Hey, yeah, same bat channel explorer. That would be the thing. If you guys want it, I mean, this is I wish I could say, "Hey, you can have any time you want," but, Sunday, I've already got Sunday's booked up. Most of today, I have something at 8 and something at 4 with a video that we've had for years. So, I figured, well, this would be a good time and again, trying to find something between, China and, California. This is going around that way. Yeah, exactly, Roger. But I mean, in other words, something with a little class to it. But no, not a formal dress watch, but um, something nice. Um, I don't know if you can how well this is going to show up. This is the band we're getting. Okay, this is. I had to make an arrangement to get a good price on these, and I did. very on a for this is a Croc strap. They're like a gator strap, but a little different, texture. And they're so I thought, well, this will give us an idea of the kind of thing we want as opposed to, like a rubber strap that, you can go diving. This is not something you can go in the pool with. Uh, you know, will the updater recording be available? Oh, this recording, all recordings will be available on that page, including this one. Everything, what I'll do is simply put a link to this, our discussions. And so, if you want to go through this and, I think if you wait a couple days, then you can get all of the, the text, all of the conversation, set up. Yeah, I think it's important for us all to remember we're all in the same boat here. This is why um, Fernando and I are getting the watches that you guys are getting. We're not getting anything different or special. Ah, God, I keep hitting my mic. Sorry. Um, okay. Anything else you guys have? Like I said, this conversation will on be on your site. By the way, after today, it's not gonna be on the general one, and it's not gonna be on the one for the, Schwarz ETN. Schwarz ETN has their own site, their own Facebook page, and there are discussions that we have with them, which we have on Sunday at 10 o'clock, will be at that time. Um, the, yeah, I think that'll work a lot better. This is something here's the reason for that, okay? Since all of us are working together to get a watch, we don't want what I guess the kibitzers. These are people that come in and say, "Oh, do this or do that. Are you gonna be getting the watch? Oh, no, never mind, but this is what you should do." We're not doing it. This is for us, okay? And it's just for us, and so we're the only ones that are gonna be privy to our discussions. And if somebody else wants to join after March 4th, tough. Too late. Okay. In the past, some of you have said, "Oh, gee, I missed it." If you miss it this time, it wasn't because you didn't know about it. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Yeah. And listen, I hate to be rude or snap at anybody about getting off topic, but we'll never get anything done otherwise. And I apologize to Abdul. But we gotta we have to really keep our eye on the ball, otherwise things don't get done, or it gets done the way we don't want it to. Okay? All right, guys. Well, listen, go ahead if you're already if you I'll put the people up. I'll put the names of the people up who already have I have all of the stuff for them, okay? On and I'll put it up on this page, and then just go ahead and go there, and if you're already signed in, then you'll be let in. If you haven't yet, if you don't have your deposit yet, then you'll have to wait until you get your deposit, okay? Okay, guys. All right. Take care, and, this is gonna be fun. We're gonna make a watch.